So you have the 4 smaller jars. So that fits. This is an Aldi's jam jar. I'm sure there's other brands that make smaller. I just happen to get these at Aldi's, so it's like $3. So they fit this size jar. And then you have 3 larger ones that would fit like a larger mason jar. These are actually my drinking jars, but they would fit like this type of jar. I'm gonna take a sip while I have it out. So you'll get 3 of larger of that one. Now you can put the rub-on transfers over these. You could do stamps over these. You could, I just did a marker and wrote my name on the bottom of this one. So super great for gifting for the holidays. And then your last sheet is going to be your step and repeat pattern. You could use this for bookmarks too. So those of you that have the step and repeat patterns from other months, those would be great for the background of the bookmarks too. So that is the Printables Club. Printables Club, again, when you join, you get immediate access. They go right to your email. So like Mickey said, she has hers already. Everybody that's an existing member, they already get sent. So they would have arrived this morning as long as your membership payment went through. And they go right to your inbox. You just download them into a file and then you have them forever to craft with. So with that, we're going to be doing the, I'm just going to get this stuff out of my way. I'm going to be showing you how to do the bookmarks a couple different ways. Hey, Miss Debbie. Miss Debbie says hi to all her friends here at Christian Craft Paper. I love it. So you guys, we've done tassels before, and I feel like my tassels were wonky compared to these tassels. So I'm excited to show you what I learned, including how to make this knot that like disappears behind. And it's something that you might have to watch a couple times. This is recorded. It will be on the page and on YouTube. So you can go through and rewatch the replay if you need to like stop when I do this part, because I had to watch it a few times. But I love that you don't have to glue. We use no glue for any of this to do the bookmark, which is crazy because we always have the hot glue gun out, but not this time. And then this is the other version that I did that has, and these tassels, you can make them as big or as small as you want. And then I'm going to show you the process for connecting them to the bookmark, because I actually have my little cheat sheet steps here, because you have to do things in a particular order to be able to attach it to the bookmark and then have it, like, you'll notice there's no knots or anything. So that's what I'm going to show you. Susan said she downloaded her printables and she loves them. All right, we got to pin that, right? We're going to pin that one. Okay, so I've got our, I'm going to pin, Susan, you're going to stay up there for a minute because I'm going to pin that. Gayla says she loves the tassels. You guys, they're so fun. I was playing with them this weekend, and then I went crazy on Amazon and I bought all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to be using different stuff today. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to take it one step at a time. I wanted to show like 6 different ways to do bookmarks, but the tassel ones are going to take a minute. So I'm going to start with the easier ones. So all I did is I printed out a bunch of just the bookmarks, so I have them so I can make them. And then for these ones, I dusted off my laminator. I'm going to unpin you, Susan, just because, there we go. It's covering half my screen too, and I can't see. All right, so with the lamination, and I haven't plugged this thing in a minute, so it's nice and hot and we're ready. This is just 3 milliliter lamination sheets. Let me know if you've used laminations if you have a laminator, if you've used it in the past. It's super easy. They're not too expensive to get one. I think I originally got one for like kids homework stuff, and I had to get my sewing machine down earlier this week, and I saw the laminator up there and I was like, we're doing bookmarks. I need to laminate them. So with the bookmarks, I would print, if I was doing bookmarks, which I am, I would print them on cardstock. I was going to do that this morning, but I forgot, and I accidentally just printed them on my 32-pound bright white. Totally fine. We're going to do it with a 32-pound bright white. So what I did already, because I didn't want you to have to watch me struggle with the cutter, I just went through and with my slide cutter, what is it, my work lion? Where did I put that dang thing? Oh, it's stuffed in here. I have a little pile of stuff down here of ribbons and stuff. So I just have like this work line cutter. It's super inexpensive. So what you're going to do, and I'm not going to go through each one, but I'll show you like the first cut just so you know what to do. So all I did is I lined up and I cut all these the same length, okay? So cut all of them the same length this way, turn it around, cut all the same length that way, and then you can go through and cut each of these. From that point, what you're gonna have to do, because there is some outline around, like this one doesn't have an outline at the top, but it does it has the base at the bottom. This one has an outline all the way around. This one has no outline. And then this one has an outline. So after you get them just cut so they're all a rectangle, cut them individually, just right where you can, and just separate all four. And then from there, I just had to go back and forth to adjust them. Let me put this over here. Sandy says she has the Laminator and she uses it regularly. Oh, Mickey's a teacher. She has one she uses a lot. Mandy, the Deluxe Club. Let me go over here because my brain can only hold so much information. So the Deluxe Club is $39.99 and you get everything. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, when your memberships went through, we have moved to flat rate pricing. So all of you Kit Club members that were paying 10, 13, 12, I think some of the months, because the kit was really heavy, it was $15 in shipping. It's all just the flat rate $8 shipping now. So everyone that got a Kit Club, you should have noticed that your membership was less this month because the shipping's flat rate now. So, but yeah, the Deluxe Club is the best value because you get the Printable Club for free. So love it. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. And if you have questions, just pop them in here. We'll answer as we go. Lisa said she just got a new Laminator. She hasn't tried it yet. Okay, you're gonna love it once you try it. Okay, so I just stuck these in here. I have it heating up already. So what you'll see is I just picked two for the front and the back. Okay, so I like these two together. The Unto Us a Child is Born with the little nativity repeating pattern. And so you just want to make sure that once you get them cut, that they're both the same size. So that's why you kind of have to go through the cutter, and I had to take a little off this side, take a little off that side, take a little off, till I got them good. So once you get them like that, then you're going to stick them in your laminating sheet, and you're just going to shove them down and line them up with the bottom. So you want to make sure everything is lined up, because when we stick it through the machine, it's just going to basically stick them together. And I used to worry that I was wasting all this lamination, and I don't worry anymore because there's a lot more things we could worry about, and this is not one of them. So don't worry about it. You get a bunch of sheets. It's fine. If you wanted to be proactive and have more in here, you could fill the whole sheet. It's fine. Just make sure you have some edging, because you're going to need to like cut them out once they go through. So I've got them in there good. I don't want them to move. I'm going to move my Laminator over here. I don't know how much room we have. We're going to make it work. So this thing's been on. I think I've had this thing for, I'm not even kidding you, probably like 17 years. So I'm noticing the green light is not going on, but it's been heating for 20 minutes and it only takes like, it says 5 to 7 minutes to heat up. So we're fine. So you're going to take them in your laminating machine. This is how easy it is. You're just going to stick it down in the machine, and once it catches, it'll just feed itself through. So I'll shove it up a little bit, but you can just see it just feeds itself through. And while it's doing that, I'm going to get my hole punch, because we are going to need to put a hole in here. All right, and then you can just see on the bottom here, I'll do it this way so it's coming out at you there. It's just going to shoot them right out, and then these are all laminated now. And it shouldn't have any bubbles or anything. If you do have a little bit of bubbles, just stick it back through again. Not a big deal. Don't pull it. If you use this, like if you push this up, it'll like stick it back through the other way, but we don't need it. So you could use this for your gift tags. You could use this, obviously I'm using it for bookmarks, but now, all right, I'm gonna push this back out of the way. I could probably turn it off, but you know how when you turn things off and then you need them, so I won't. But so now you have like, they're all nice and protected. So it's literally that easy. Debbie says she doesn't have a laminator, but she uses packing tape on both sides. That's a great idea. If you don't have a laminator, Debbie says she uses packing tape on both sides. So you can do that. Now, when you're cutting, you'll see there's a little edge here. It's almost like a pocket of air. You want to cut on the outside of that, okay? Because you need that pocket of air. So we're just going to cut. So you can cut close to it, but you don't have to, don't go into that little pocket or it's just going to open it again. So I'm just going to go right around the outside here and I'm just going to cut them out. And you could use fancy scissors if you want. You could use, you could do rounded corners. It's really just a preference. I could probably cut this on my work line too, but we'll just take it easy. Gail says she canceled the printables and got the deluxe instead. Yeah, girl, I saw that. I had to go in and do the orders instead. Sometimes that happens, you know, you get in the printables and the printables is a great place to start because then you're like, can I do this? I think a lot of people see this crafting and maybe it's intimidating, and I'm not the most amazing crafter. I just like to craft. So that's why I try and show you things that are easy and doable. And then once you get the hang of it, then yeah, maybe you want the whole kit. So now we have our two-sided bookmarks, just like this. And so from here, what I would do is I would go ahead and punch our hole, and then you can add the tassel from that point. So just make sure you're going to leave, you want some room up here because we don't want it to rip through. So try and get it centered and then down a little bit, and then you just punch right through. And now you've got a hole. So you could put a ribbon through there. You could put a string. You could put a tassel. This one is kind of easy to figure out where the hole goes because this point is going to be the center. So I'm just going to go right in the top of that point, and then I know I've got it there in the center, and we're good to go. You can use jute. It's that easy. So how great are these? Great gifts, super inexpensive. You can make a whole bunch with one sheet. You can reprint these as many times as you want, but that's how easy it is to laminate. Deborah says you can also use an iron to laminate. So if you want to get the lamination paper, which is super inexpensive, and use an iron, I'd get parchment paper probably and put it over it. Then you can do that as well. Great suggestions. Y'all are so creative. Okay, so I have here these are just our bookmarks here. And all I did was I just did a white on a white over them. And I'll show you the reason I did the white. This side here, I did not do the white. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see how it almost has like some grain. Now this pattern is textured, so it might not have been show through. This side I painted, no, this side I did not paint white. So this one I didn't paint white, and then I did it again, and I was like, I'm gonna just do the white just to make sure I don't have any like bleed through issues. And so I already prepped them so that you don't have to wait for me to print to do that. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our Mod Podge. And this is going to be for the iron-on method. So I'm going to turn my iron on. And I'm going to grab myself a paintbrush. And the next part we're going to do is the decoupage. So we're just going to cover, I gotta forget, like the camera's over here. We're just going to lightly cover the one side with the Mod Podge. You could also use the sticky paper. Now, if you have the sticky paper, you could just do sticky paper instead of Mod Podge if you don't want to deal with the Mod Podge. You know, I always struggle with this sticky paper on the live, so I'm like, I'm just doing this the Mod Podge way. I'm just gonna hit it with the heat gun real quick. All right, and that's just so that we can flip it over. Yeah, we're pretty. Well, what we'll do is let's go ahead and just do one iron on. Okay, so I've got another sheet here. we're just gonna rough cut out. I'm gonna do the same ones I did. You don't have to cut it out exactly because we're gonna use our file to get the edges off. So you can just go through and just cut out the ones that you want. And you don't have to use the backgrounds together that I did. I just liked those two together. You can use different ones. It's really just what you want to do. So we're just going to cut in between these so we can separate them. And again, because they're printables, if you mess up, you just print out another sheet. It's not like the like you have to worry with the transfers or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to do, we're going to go ahead and do this one on the front. Now this is what I used. I used the light because if you hold it up to the light, you can see where the border is to make sure that you have it centered. And you take your parchment paper, go right over it, and we're just going to iron it on. And it's that easy. I just make sure that I have all of the edges caught. Oh, see that little edge? This is a good example. That little edge, I didn't get the Mod Podge all the way to the end. So you're just going to take your Mod Podge and Mod Podge. I know people get upset if I don't say it right. And then just make sure it's all on there. So we've got that one. I'm going to go ahead and do the back of this one with the Mod Podge really quick. And then we'll do the back of the other one. Again, it doesn't take a lot, but you just have to make sure you get the whole part covered. You can hold it up to the light too to see if you missed any spots. I swear the corners always get me. They're tricky. Deborah, oh, that's what, she already had that. I think I had one half done that I was going to use, so you didn't have to watch me do this. And then, do you think I know where I put it when I was getting ready? No. Hey, that's the way it goes, I swear. All right. Now, if you didn't want to do the iron-on method, you can put it on just like this while it's wet. So I'm going to use that one with that one, and I'll just do the same that I did this time. The only thing is once you stick it on there, if it is wet, you're not going to be able to move it. That's why I like the iron-on method, because you still can move it around if you mess up. I need to get this one. This one has a border. You know what? I'm not even going to do it. I'm going to let it dry because since we're lining things up, I don't want it to be crooked. All right. That one's completely dry, so we can go ahead. All right, so we'll put this one on. And again, I'm just making sure that I don't have, because I've got a little bit of this black line here from the other design. So I just want to make sure that I'm not going to get that. You want to make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom, so you don't have like some of your design hanging off. So just bend it, make sure that you can just kind of bend it and see that you've got edge all the way around, that we're good there. Okay, that should be good. I'm gonna give it an iron. I think I accidentally just turned my iron off while I was ironing. Can I use the paper instead of the parchment paper? You could probably, tissue paper. I don't know that tissue paper would do it. You'd probably need something thicker like cardstock maybe. What brand is the iron? This one is the Caloggy, C-A-L-O-G-Y. I did have the Cricut one and it died on me after a couple months and I was not happy about that. So I do not recommend the Cricut press anymore because it barely lasted. So with the sanding, you're just going to stand away and only enough pressure to just break the paper, okay? It should just go right off. Now when I'm not doing a live, I do one side, sand it off, flip it over, do the other side. But I am going to only sand one side at a time. And because we're using the 32-pound bright white, it's going to take a little more elbow grease than if you were using tissue. But you don't have to like tear at it too much, okay? All right, so that is our first sanding. So you can see that this whole side, we're good. Like it's all come off. And now we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the other side. Now, because these are a little bit higher quality, I am going to show you how to finish the edges on these because we're doing decoupage on both sides and we're sanding. So where it was like a nice dark line, it might not be when we get done with all our sanding. And that's when your paint pens, or you could probably even use a Sharpie, or I have my Krylon gold leafing pen. We're going to use those when we get to that spot. Ew, one thing I forgot, before you flip it over, did we iron on this one? We need to poke the hole. And I did this one at a time. Now I got to figure out where the hole is. Well, this is the top, so there it is. So I usually do the whole one side at a time. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and poke through. And this is a jewelry poker thing. So I'm going to poke through from one side. And then I've got a nice hole on that side. Then come through and do the other side the other way. Now, because I didn't do each side individually, it's trying to pop up on me. So I'm just going to have to go back through and just get all the spare to the inside. So again, when I'm not doing a live, I do better. Go ahead and poke that hole. As soon as you get the one side done, poke the hole. This tool has like almost like sandpaper on either side. So like you can sand it off. There we go. So now we got the hole on both sides. Don't forget to poke your hole. Otherwise, you'll have a problem. As I was looking at it, I was like, what happened to the hole? Okay. I've got a little bit more on this edge, and we're almost done. Okay, from after you get all of the paper off, we'll get this out of the way here. Do I have a link for the sanding tool, Carrie? I do. It is in my favorite things post, which is pinned to the top of the page. But I think you might have to go out of the live to see it, but it's pinned in there. Now, we don't typically do this when we are doing the sanding edges, but because we're using this as a bookmark, I do lightly go around the edges because we've got paper on both sides just to make sure. See, there's a little bit here. I can still feel it. There we go. So it should be nice and smooth all the way around. Nothing should be lifting. And once you've got that, you're good to go. Now, I'm not going to do it right now, but I did do it with these. This is the point you want to take it outside and seal it. So I use the Annie matte finish acrylic sealer. I just did one coat. I'm in Arizona. It's hot outside. So I just did one coat and then I lightly sprayed it. I left it like 20 minutes, went back, flipped it over, light sprayed 20 minutes, and then it's good to go. So you're probably not going to be able to tell, but this one is sealed. This one isn't. So I do recommend sealing these because they are going to be high touch. You don't want the edges to lift up on you. Which reminds me, we put glue on this edge and then I didn't iron it back down. So we need to do that. I'm lucky that didn't tear while I was sanding. There we go. So if you do add Mod Podge to any of the corners, make sure that you go back and iron it back down. Hey, Miss Nona. Miss Nona says she hopes everyone is having a good day. Thank you, Miss Nona. I hope you are as well. All right, so we won't continue with this one. You guys get the idea for the decoupage. We're going to go ahead and start the tassel because I feel like that's what everyone's here for. Okay, tassel stuff. You could go crazy. I did. Things that I bought. All right. What I've seen with the tassels is it's all about texture. Like you're looking for texture. If you go on Pinterest and look at the tassels, they all have like tons of texture. So initially I thought, because I have this, this is a wired, it came with my Bodabra. So it's like a wired, like gold string. And initially I thought I could use this for the bookmark string because you're going to need whatever string goes through the bookmark, because with the bookmarks, you need something thin because you'll notice this hole is very small. So initially I was going to use this. What I found when I started bending this is the gold started separating and you could see the white through. And I was like, no, I'm not about that. So I am going to use this actually in a different way. I'm going to use it, but you do need, what I was thinking was I needed was a super thin jute, but the jute is hard to string through stuff. So I ended up getting this bamboo, what is this? Bamboo, oh, hemp, natural polished hemp, number 10. I got it at Walmart. Basically, it's super thin, but it's super strong. So this is what we're going to use for the bookmark loop, okay? For measurements, what I did is I have the large surface saver. So I did cut the length of the surface saver. If you don't have the surface saver, then it's going to be 25 inches. So your main string that you're going to start with is 25 inches. So we're going to cut that. And from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a knot in it because this part is what's going to go through your bookmark tassel or bookmark, and then your tassel is going to sit down on this end. So what I found, I did the same amount. I put the knot at the same length on both different versions. So we have this version and we have this version. What you'll notice is this version, the tassel is a lot closer to the bookmark. This one, the tassel is a lot further from the bookmark, but the knot's at the same 5 inches. So what I found is if you are using a thin, if your tassel is going to be made out of thin material like jute or something thin like this, then you actually need to move this initial knot up. I would probably move it another 1.5 inches or so because I would have preferred the tassel maybe to be here. Again, this is preference. If you're going to use this in your Bible, maybe you need like a longer tassel. So that's where you're going to decide where to put this knot. But for general consensus and doing this larger thing, I'm going to put the knot so that this loop is 5 inches long. Okay. So I'm going to move it. So I'm just seeing where 5 inches, 5 inches is here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to get the knot as close to this 5 inches as possible. So we'll do this first and then we're going to pick out all our ribbons and stuff. So you just make your little knot and then I just use my fingers to kind of push it up to where I want. All right. So we've basically just got our 25 inches in a loop, and we've got 5 inches remaining here. From this part, you're going to go ahead and attach it to your bookmark by simply looping it through. So now we've got it attached. The thinner ones, you could make the tassel and then attach it later, because there was enough length to do that. With the thicker ones, it's not going to be as easy. So now we have our bookmark attached to our knotted 25 inches of, I called it bamboo. It's not, it's hemp. All right, so that part is ready. Next is the fun part. You get to pick all of your different textures and things that you want in the actual tassel. So how long you want your tassel, or how big you want your tassel, is going to determine how long you cut each of the pieces of the string or ribbon or whatever you're using. So let's say you want it the same length. I'm going to make this tassel a little bit bigger. Let's say you want the tassel to be the same length as your bookmark, then you're going to want to double that. And you don't have to be precise, because we can trim this all up once we're done. Okay, so now I have, this is 12 inches, which makes sense because it's a 6-inch bookmark. So for us, we're going to go with 12 inches. So after we fold it over and we gather it, it's going to be, you know, like yay big. So if you want it bigger, just do longer. So from here, I did 2 of each kind of whatever I wanted to use. So I like this one. I'm going to do 2 of these. And then I got this at Walmart. No, wait, I got this at Amazon. This is Wool Ease Thick and Quick. It's a Lion brand. I loved this because, again, it's tons of texture. And I don't know if you can see it, but it has this gold in it. And so I was sticking with that gold feel and theme. So I'm going to just, again, they don't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to do 2 of these. You could do more of these if you want. I actually might do more. So we've got some metallic texture in there. We've got some soft textures in there. I'm going to do 4 of these. This is the fun part. You just start adding all of the different things. Now, on the original one I did, I got this ribbon at Walmart too. It is a thicker ribbon. So that's what I used in this one. I'm not going to use it for the one I'm doing right now. I'm going to get some different textures here. So I'm telling you, I went ham. So I got all of these different gold ones from Amazon. These are different. They're different sets that you can buy. Then you can also use jute, would be a great texture. And then I also got this lace from Amazon. So I'm going to put in some of this. I think one of these, I'll put in a couple pieces of these lace. Again, this is like 1-inch lace. It's pretty thick. You could use a thinner one. Actually, I'm going to cut the lace at the angle. This angle was already kind of cut, but I'll just clean it up here. So when you do the lace, go ahead and cut it at an angle. And we will mess with this after we get everything cut. Okay, so we've got that. And then I do want to put some different texture in there. So I used jute for the other one. Like I used this jute. I also got this greenery lace. I think this was from Amazon too. It doesn't work with this one, but I love that. But I'm seeing in here, like this is a great thinner, because this is the jute rope that I used on the other one, and it's pretty thick. So I'm going to get this thinner one here. So I'm going to put a couple of these in there, and then I think we should be good. We're going to pick it up, see what it looks like, see if we need to add anything else. Again, you could go crazy. Like these mixes from Amazon. Oh, that's my son. Parker? Oh, I don't know if he's outside or not. So this one has all of these different golds in there. So if I want to add, like, this is a really pretty right here. I think I'll add this one. So this is where you can just go crazy and make it as fun as you want. Okay, really, I think I'm done. I don't know where my husband went. I saw him walk by. Morgan, is Paul in there? He has tutoring. Let me text my husband really quick because he forgot my son had tutoring right now. Hold please. I have to put on my mom hat real quick. Okay, hopefully he gets that. Okay, so we have everything here. So from this part, what you want to do is you can mix it around if you want to mix the stuff around so that it looks however you want it to look. And then we're just going to fold it in half. So right now, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So if you want to move some of the pieces around, like it looks like most of my yarn's on that side, I'm going to move it over here. You just kind of move it to however you want it to look. And again, don't worry about the ends right now because we're going to mess with those. If you do have, like these two look like I need to pull them through because they're a little bit shorter on one end. So you can adjust all that now. Like this one's a little bit shorter, so I'm just going to pull it to make it a little bit more even because I don't want them completely off. And then I feel like this is a good, we've got it nice and good. Okay, so from here, oh, this is an extra piece. What am I doing? One escaped. I just love this ribbon with the gold in it. Lisa says she loves seeing all the different textures in the tassels, right? The texture is key. Okay, so we have it attached to our bookmark. We're going to separate our strings here, and we're going to just loop our half through so that the knot from our string is now under our group of ribbon, okay? And then we're just going to fold it over. So from this point, this is what it looks like right here. We just have it looped over. Okay, and this is the part where I was like, it's scary. Oh, I knew I'm not following my steps. If you want a bead on it, you've got to put the bead on it before we do this. So let's back this out. I knew something looked funny. I'm gonna back that out. We're gonna do that here in a minute. If you want any beads added, we've got to add them at this point because otherwise they are not going to, we should have added it before we did our bookmark. I think I can get it over this knot, but this is where you're going to want to take, if you, we'll just use our wooden beads, but you can use wooden beads, you can use glass beads, and all the things. So I'm just going to use a wooden one because that's going to be easiest right now. And it'll fit over this knot. So we'll go ahead and put our bead on here. So obviously I'm going to have to record another tutorial here. So the bead is just going to slide over. I knew it would slide over the knot. That's why I wasn't worried about it. So if your bead is bigger, you can still add it at this point, but I just want a bead on there to kind of finish that top. All right, so we'll grab it through, stick it back through again. And then fold it over. All right, so we've got our tassels here. Again, I've got one that's looking a little longer on the other side. So we can still adjust. All right, so here's what we're looking like. Again, this is a lot of just messing with it, but it's not hard. We've got our knot underneath, and we're like this. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set something on there to hold it. And here's where I'm going to use this string. Now on this one, I used jute. On this one, I actually used just a piece of leather, like that leather string. So I'm going to try and use this because I feel like the gold would be really pretty. So you're going to need to be generous with this because you don't know how much you're going to need. So I just take a big old piece here. This is pretty thick. So I've got a big old piece. And this is the part I had to like rewind a bunch of times to get. Okay, so you're going to make a loop like so, okay? And the long is going to be on the left side. So we've got the short, so it's just a loop, okay? And this is probably way more than I need, but it's fine. So we've got the long side going off to the left and the short side going off to the right. So we are going to lay this on the back and just grab it as part of our bundle. And then we're going to start winding where we want the, I gotta push my gold down. We're gonna start winding where we want the top. So we still got this little tail up here, okay? It's off to the side. We're just gonna start winding up here. And when you wind, you're going around that loop because that loop is under my hand. See it? So we're gonna start winding around it. You're gonna wanna pull it tight and just keep winding around it. Now I'm trying to go in like layers, like so that it's kind of going down the tassel like this shows right here. And just hold it tight and just keep working around. I feel like that's pretty good there. So I've still got that loop right here. See how that loop is still, oh, I gotta get it so you can see it. See how that loop is right there? And my tail's like up here. So I'm gonna go one more time around. All right, I gotta get it so that you can see it because I swear that lady went so fast. I was like, what the heck did she just do? Okay, so we've got our tail here. We've got our loop. We're going to cross our loop. And we're gonna stick the tail through the loop. All right, so I took the loop, because I don't wanna go too fast for you guys. I took the loop and then I crossed it. So it's just crossed now. And then I'm gonna take the tail and pull the tail through the loop that I just crossed. Once you do that, hold everything tight, then you can pull this, pull your tail, and it's gonna pull that knot that you just made under, and you just shove it up through. Pull it tight from both sides. Now I'm pulling both sides, okay? And that's it. Your knot's underneath and it's tucked and you can't see it and you don't need to use glue. So from there, I'm just gonna trim off my excess. And like I told you, I grabbed way more than I needed. Now you have no visible knot. Is that not like the best hack I've seen? When she did that, I was like, what? So now what I can see is I've got some loose ones up here. So I'm just gonna pull these down here and you're just gonna kind of adjust where you want, if you need to adjust anything on the actual tassel. And then you can go through, because see, it looks like this one's like a little short. So again, just pull down anything if you want to pull it down a little bit more. If you want to adjust anything, if something's not looking right at the top, like this little piece here, what's right here. Like I'm just going to pull those a little bit tighter. Just kind of have to go through and figure out which ones you need to tighten up a little bit. I just wanted it to look a little more clean on the top. And then from there, you can go through and clip off any, like this one's like a little long, or if you wanted it more even, you could do the whole thing. I kind of like it looking a little scraggly. So I'm just going to trim just a little bit, anything that's like kind of sticking out. This is all preference. I feel like that's pretty good. And from there, you're just going to slide your bead back down. And there you go. Like I have these two close together, but that's how easy it is to do the tassel beads. Now, if you were like, when I did the beads before, I did use a smaller bead on this one and I knotted it. On this one, I have the knot underneath the bead. So if you were like this and you didn't like the fact that it's moving, you can just glue I would just glue right here. I don't think my hot glue gun's on. I'll turn it on, but I would just put a little dab of glue there. And that'll hold it down. And then it could be fun to paint these beads too. And you don't have to have the bead either. Like the bead is just for looks. But that is how easy it is to make it. Now this is the string that we used that's part of this. If you don't like the look of that string because it's too thin, we just go in there and just cut it. Like this one, it kind of blended into the texture. You don't see it. On this one, I do see it. And so I am going to cut it out of that one too. Because it's thinner than the jute. So to me, it like stands out more. So I can do one more. So if you guys want to see it again, we can do one more. And let's just grab some of these other, what do we have? I'm gonna find our laminated ones. This laminated one, I feel like we can use, actually I have one more thing of, I tell you, I get organized and I can't find nothing. This one I have these other little, you guys know I love myself a check. Also, I'm going to do at a different point, but I also got all these little charms. You can add the little charms and stuff to it, and I think those would be so fun. So since this is the first time I've done like tutorials on a tassel, I didn't want to get too crazy because you know how it can go when you're trying to be live. So I have, of course, I have buffalo check ribbon, so we'll be using that. And these are the packs that I got from Amazon. So these are, I don't know if the brand is I'm a Crafter, what's your superpower? Prim Trims, I guess is the name of them. So I got the natural one, and then I got the metallic, and then I got this black and white one. And then they also have a Christmas one too I'll be getting because it's Christmas. Christmas is upon us, right? Okay, same thing. I'm just going to double the length here. So we need 12 inches. So we'll do 2 of these. And then I'm kind of loving this little silver. I don't know what this is. This is what I love about these sets is they're just all different fun stuff. So you don't have to buy a million reels of ribbon because I know I just cleaned my crafting room like last weekend. And literally the last thing I needed to be doing was buying more ribbon. But here we are. This one also has this fun textured one. Oh, here. They're knotted in the middle, so it's easier if I pull them out. All the different ways. That one would have been a good one to use as the, I think I'll use this one to wrap it around the outside. So I'm going to put that one aside. What else do we got here? Oh, we've got this fun stuff. I don't know what this is. Some kind of chenille or something. Is that how you say it? So we're just rough cutting. And then I feel like I need more white. This is fun. So let's grab a couple of these. All right, it's literally that easy. Do we want anything else? Dixie! This one would have been a good one to wrap it around with. Did I get this one? Oh no, this is the one I was going for initially. One more. Almost looks like a fishnet stocking over it there. All right, so we'll just put that. I'm stuffing it in my little bag over here. This is extra. That goes there. And this one too, because this is so thin, I feel like we could use this. If I need to grab another piece, I will. I'm going to do it a little bit shorter because I want to leave myself enough to wrap around. So we're going to do the same process. We've got our loop. We're going to give ourselves space here. Tie our knot. Dixie. So this is the part that's going to hold the tassel and also attach to the bookmark. So we've got our loop here. It's going to be a little bit shorter. So at this point, we want to go ahead and add the bead. So I'm going to use the beater this time. So the beater, you string the bead first, put your ribbon through it, and then Dixie. Actually, we're going to have to do the bead from the other side because otherwise I won't be able to get the thing through here. See? That's how I forget my thing. So go ahead and put your ribbon on through it first. And then we'll just string the bead through this way. If you have larger pulled beads, it makes it easier, which these ones are. All right, so we're going to put it through this way. There we go. All right, we'll get there. I am loving the black and white with this. Well, hello. I think I have the wrong side here. One of these sides pulls. This side. There we go. Wasn't liking me doing that. All right, so we've got our bead on. Now we can go ahead and get our ribbon. Just going to, I can tell they're doing the orders right now because we have all the membership kits running and rock kits are selling like crazy, and they're putting the orders out to get picked up right now, and I think they accidentally have one of the priorities in the bags that are already packed, so I can hear them out there trying to sort out where it went. All right, so you can tell I did my chenille a little longer, but that's fine. So we're just going to fold it in half. We're going to string it through our hole here. And then because this color matches, it's just going to blend in there as well. So we're good. And then we're just going to fold it over. So we've got it folded over now. And we're going to do our loops again. So we'll put this up here. Just place something on it so you can make your loops. Okay, so where's the rest of our string? So here's our little piece of string. We're going to do our loop again. So we're going to just make a loop like this, and we want it so that the spare end is on the right hand side, long end on the left. And I don't have to make that loop that big because the part we're only going to be wrapping is this part right here. So just make sure you have enough to hold on to. We're going to put our stacked fabric right on top of it there. And now we have everything. Make sure our loop is off to the side. And then we're going to start wrapping. So you're going to wrap it under and over that loop you have in the back. I don't have a hold of it very well here. There we go. All right, so we're going to pull it tight and start wrapping it around. This one's a little shorter, so it's kind of getting in our way here. So just keep wrapping. Do it like 3 or 4 times. It just depends on, this is a thicker ribbon, so I don't feel like we have to wrap it as much. Just get it tight. We still got our little tail over here. We've still got our loop underneath. All right, I'm going to go one more time. And then now I'm going to flip it over. So now on the back, I have, this is where I'm wrapping. This is my tail. This is my loop. So we'll leave this, put this over here. So that's our tail from our loop. This is where I was wrapping, and here's the actual loop that we've been wrapping over. So we're going to twist this. Just give it a twist. And when you do that, after you twist it, you're going to put the wrapping piece through the twist. That's going to create the knot, and then from there, you're going to hold on to your tail from the wrapping and the other tail. Once I pull this other tail, it's going to see how it's pulling that loop through. Push that ribbon down. It's going to pull it through and underneath. And then we pull both tails tight. Okay, then we can clip. So you just clip the top, clip the bottom, just as close as you can there. And now our tassel's done. And from this part, we can just adjust your strings. And if you have shorter ones, I'd pull this short, like this one's a little bit shorter. You're just going to pull down whatever you want. If it's sticking up to, it's kind of like a ponytail when you're like trying to get the bubbles out, you know? I feel like that's pretty good right there. So again, I'm going to push that down, and then from here I can go through and I can fix any of the bottoms. So if you want it all like a little more around this length, then I'm just going to come through and I'm just going to clip the parts that are kind of hanging a little bit low. I don't want everything the same length. I did the same length on this one. I just grabbed it all and then I just cut the bottom. But when it's these ribbon ones, I feel like you do want some, you know, you want some different lengths and some texture on the ends there. I feel like that's pretty good. All right, and there we go. So now we have our second one that has the black and white version of the tassels. And then my glue gun is ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and just tap these beads down. I got little chenille, black chenille everywhere, but it's all good. So I'm gonna put the glue right on the top of the tassel. And then I'm going to make sure I'm holding the bookmark, and I'm just going to shove it down on it. And then from there, your bead's not going to move. We can do the same thing with the larger one. Make sure you're holding it exactly where you want the bead to go. And then I'm just pulling it through this side so that it doesn't move on me. And there we go. We've made 2 tassel bookmarks. That one doesn't need glued. It has a knot. So that's how easy it is to make the tassel bookmarks. You could make tassels for anything. It wouldn't have to be just bookmarks. But how fun are these? How cute would these be as a gift, especially if you're looking for things for your women's ministry sisters, neighbors. If you're giving someone a new Bible as a gift, you can just stick the little tassels, make the little tassel bookmark things and stick them in there. They could be for other kinds of projects too, not just bookmarks, but super fun. And until then, happy crafting!